Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have a lot to get into. A wild crossover today between Bachelor star Jason Tartick and Jersey Shore. That's going to be a separate video, so hit the subscribe button to make sure that you are ready and notified when that comes out. In this video, we have Jason addressing his breakup with Stickler. In that same podcast, he also talks to Kelsey Anderson about, sort of the fallout from her season on The Bachelor, how she's dealing with her fiance Joey on Dancing with the Stars and all that. So I'm going to share all of that for you guys right now. Hit the like button an odd number of times. It helps the algorithm. And if you haven't already, just confirm that you're subscribed. I've had a lot of people recently tell me they checked back and they weren't subscribed. So double check that. It really helps us get the word out. So, I've got this YouTube video I'm going to share with Kelsey, who, by the way, is my new favorite person in Bachelor Nation. Top down, 5-tool athlete. She's got it all. Charm, kindness, grace, looks. She's just a fantastic interview. So I'm going to share what she had to say about dealing with Bachelor Nation audiences with regards to the intimacy between her fiance Joey and his dancing partner. Again, new episode out tonight. We'll have all of that. The beginning, though, is on audio only. Usually when Jason Tartick does his sort of personal life addressing, he does it just on the audio. So let's have a listen to what he had to say.
So that's that. Past week's been tough. Yeah, I mean, there's just no way to kind of beat around the bush. Tough week. Breakups suck. If you're in a situation where you're not feeling okay, just know that's okay. And I had a speaking engagement that I committed to months ago that I had to fulfill this week, so powered through there. And weirdly enough, it was like, I felt like it was one of the better speeches I ever gave, and it was what I was dreading the most because I didn't feel like I was in a headspace to do it. But if anyone's not feeling okay now, I guess some productive ideas, some that have helped me, is really leaning in. You know, when you feel as though, you know, you're off balance or you're not centered, or you're just in a state of confusion, just in your head, right? Like, everything to get grounded again. And I think leaning into the people that matter most to you, mom, dad, for me, brother too, best friends. Some other things I've been doing is meditation. I got away from that for a while, but this week, just like really sitting in, avoiding distractions. Small things like focusing on hydration. Been doing sauna. I've been reading instead of watching.
By the way, this sounds so primitive, but he's so dead on. When you're going through a breakup or depression or anything that rocks your life, you need to get your physical health on par. And honestly, that might mean getting rid of inflammatory foods. That might, and I know the cliche, like you eat a gallon of ice cream during a breakup, but getting your physical body in order helps so much. Not having sugary foods and things like that will help clear your mind so that you're thinking as focused as you can be. Look, I understand I'm not a dietitian. Everyone's got different habits. So what works for one person might not work for another. But honestly, the old Forrest Gump method of just going on a run or a walk can be so productive. I remember when I was going through a breakup years ago, my mom was like, get out of bed. You got to go somewhere. And just the act of getting out of bed and going on a walk in New York City helped me sort of restore some of that energy that I felt like I couldn't harness myself. Real good advice he's giving here about taking it slow.
Watching TV and even focusing on diet and all those little things, those like little baby steps, truly can help you get grounded and centered again. So that's a little update from my personal life, but let's ring in the bell.
All right, so that's all he shares. You know, he's not one to go too deep. Of course, the breakup with Stickler had to be tough. Anytime you have these public relationships, when the public sees your failure, they want to dissect all that could have gone wrong. It was complicated in the sense that she's got a kid. So she can't just move away from where she lives. She's got a home base. And he's at a place in his life where he can be footloose and free. He can fly to LA for an interview. He can fly to New York. He can literally do whatever he wants. He's making great money. And by the way, she is too. They were a power couple while it worked. Speaking of power couples, Kelsey Anderson, of course, engaged to Joey, Bachelor Joey. So far, I say so far because I always have take it with a grain of salt because you never know what's going on below the surface. But so far, they have been batting 1,000 in their post-Bachelor lives. I want to share several clips of what she had to say about the fame, quitting her job, and supporting her man on Dancing with the Stars. Have a listen.
And then you get to have that satisfaction of closing something and moving on to another thing.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's with these opportunities now, Joey and I are both wanting to embrace it. I think anybody in this situation would totally want to dive in and, see what there is to offer and make the most of it. Mm-hmm. I think that we're really lucky because of the support we have and all the people that, love us, that we're able to do these things and make good money. So I think that we're trying to focus on maybe building to something else, whether that's a business, whether that's a coffee shop, something that,
A coffee shop. I would love this. Hey, Kelsey, let me know. Build a podcast studio and let's bring it to Nashville. By the way, speaking of podcast studios, Jason Tartick doing all the right things here. He's got a really expensive mic stand. These things are very expensive, several $100s. He's got a custom wall, tiles, backlighting, good lighting. I mean, really, A+ bravo on the studio that he's been building here.
Even when all this fades, we can still have a consistent, stream of income with something else.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I paused school for a second. I'm back in it now. But still trying to get, my degree in project management.
My advice, which nobody is asking for, Kelsey, don't go back to school. School is there to get you opportunities to succeed. You have those opportunities now. I'm sure she's making about $1,000 per 1,000 followers. So she's got $750,000. I'm sure she's making that this year, $750K. And I'm sure Joey's making double that. He's making several $100,000 just doing Dancing with the Stars. Kelsey, in the long run, might be more profitable than he is because she's in the beauty realm. If you go to her Instagram today, she has a brand sponsorship at L'Oreal. So this whole idea, I get it. This idea where you have to I'm going back to school. But, there's probably this skewed idea that people care what she's going to do. Oh, you're not going to become another influencer, are you? Do it. Absolutely. You project management, manage your life. You literally can go back to school at any time. I always say it's if a baseball player gets signed by the Red Sox and he could either go to college or get $1 million signing bonus and go play baseball. College will exist in 4 years if your career doesn't work out. Run in this direction. That's the advice I could give her. So, but either way, I mean, they're going to do great things. 13:59 is the next clip I want to share with you. Let's keep the conversation going.
We'll come with some of these things. Where is your head at now versus where it was 4 months ago?
Honestly, I think that it was hard at the beginning and I feel like I've been adjusting to it really well. It's so funny sometimes to see the DMs because I'll look through my requests sometimes and I got one the other day and it honestly actually made me laugh out loud because it was just somebody DM'd me, "I hate you," and I was like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
If you hate Kelsey Anderson, you're a hurt person. She's beautiful, empathetic, graceful. I know people can say, Dave, you got a crush on Kelsey Anderson? As far as fanboying goes, she's my Taylor Swift.
What? It was just very to the point, and I loved that. But I mean, I think that with anything, people are going to hate on you. Honestly, I think that just shows that you're,
yeah,
you're making.
So you're getting better at just being I see it for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in my mind, I'm happy people don't comment mean things. People even some girl was so pretty until you smile with your gums or something like that, and I'm just you I don't know.
Yeah. It's
just crazy to me that people think that they need to say those things. You could have just kept that in your head.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: have you got this has happened to me? I would say over the last 2 years, it's happened a lot. So it's taken a long time of being in this space for this to happen. But I get people that are trolls under troll accounts that send me DMs, and the things that they're sending me are quite personal. Mm-hmm. How the fuck you know that? Yeah. And I'm this has got to be someone in my camp or someone else's camp or someone that's connected to my circle in some capacity. Have you got anything like that yet?
Yeah, I got something during the show of someone talking about me, and it was they knew parts of my previous relationship, but parts they didn't.
Yeah.
And so they were piecing things together that it was partial truths, and then partial I was all right, that's not true. But it's like, I know that it's probably like a friend of, my ex, like a friend of a friend of my ex, because I was like, that's just doesn't add up. And I know that he would never have said any of that.
Yeah.
But I got that. And then also more recently, it was like I was in a DJ booth with somebody, and like they were commenting under Joey's Instagram being like, Kelsey was real snuggly up with the DJ. And I was like,
oh God.
I was in this area with a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And I told Joey, I was like, I don't know what this is. And he was like, people are always going to try.
Yeah, he
like,
doesn't.
Yeah, people are crazy, and they're going to take some thought of what they see, and they're going to spin it in a direction, and it's up to Joey and Kelsey to be unbothered by that. By the way, I love these. They've got these Hill Rose Podcast water bottles, so maybe that's the podcast studio that they work at. Oh, there says Melrose. Melrose Podcast. So maybe this isn't his personal studio. Maybe he was just renting it out. But either way, that's what's great. When I don't necessarily think my podcast is of this size, but when your podcast is as big as his is, you're going to make, I don't know, $2,400 an episode or whatever the heck it is. You go to these podcasting studios that cost you $200. It's a business write-off, so that's you're not going to get taxed on that. I'm not a CPA. Don't take my word for it. But you just can show up. They run the whole thing for you. They give it to you. My only thought, and again, this is so irrelevant to the conversation, is that Jason doesn't need the tablet right here. I always laugh at people when they've got too many notes in front of them because it takes their eyes away from the conversation. But he's such a type A personality that I understand it. He's probably got I'm just assuming, I'm totally calling them out now, but I'm sure their team has like notes they share and this and that. And Caitlin Bristow kind of did the same thing. She doesn't have the hard copy notes, but I think all you need is the call her daddy style. Call her daddy. She'll have these note cards, and I've actually got them right here for stand-up stuff, note cards. But when you keep something just to a certain size, you can't be like, it's like, all right, what do you got? 8 questions, you know what I mean? Jason, what I'm trying to say is this is a compliment. You're better than that. You're charismatic, and that's only going to get in the way of your flow. Again, don't take my advice for it. You're crushing it. 16:35. Let's go to the next clip. But hey, I wouldn't be my channel if I didn't offer unsolicited advice. And people will go, Dave, why do you keep interrupting? Because it's my GD channel, and that's what we GD do.
It's all the time, especially Bachelor Nation, man. They are passionate, but everyone is worried about what is Kelsey's take on Joey being on Dance with the Stars. And just the art of dancing could be, you got to have chemistry to succeed. Like, that's part of it. Like, where is the baseline? Where's the foundation, the true Kelsey? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that Jenna needs to stop touching my man. Okay? I think it's funny to me. People are like, oh my gosh, they're like, why is she touching Joey like that? Or why is she touching Joey? And I'm like, they have to touch each other to dance and like to win. And I think that Joey, is just so reassuring in our relationship that I don't need to wonder or guess. Or I've always been in relationships where I fully trust the guy that I'm with, and Joey is just the most amazing person and I fully trust him. Also, Jenna's married and has a cute little baby, and I met them before any of this came out and all of this, and yeah, I don't know, I think that it's funny that people are so concerned about like them dancing together, but
every group has that. Steven Adorzik, the pommel horse prince, he's with Riley Arnold, and she's, I believe, young and single, and he's actually in a relationship, and it's got to be very tough on the partner to see that the internet's sort of quote unquote shipping. Do we still use that term, shipping? I don't know if we do. It's going to be hard on the partner to know that audiences are going to be shipping what they see on camera because they built some weird, cringy, parallel sort of a connection to them. The season's been fantastic. Believe it or not, Joey has a chance to do better than Jen and Steven Adorzik. Steven's great, but I think Joey's got more of the rhythm. I don't see a scenario, if it's based on skill alone, where Joey can compete with Chandler McKinney. She's the best on the show, lands down by a country mile. But Joey with a fan, and by all means, Jen could pass Joey too. If she hits the right Viennese waltz, I think, either way, we'll be covering all of the Dancing with the Stars on the podcast. So you can scan that code right there if you want to join the podcast, and we'll have all of that info. Let's wrap this up. One more minute of what Kelsey has to say.
I don't know. I'm very secure in my relationship, and I'm just taking it at what it is. They're dancing together, and Joey's going to beat everybody and win.
Let's go. Kelsey, by the way, we were at the show last night. Kelsey's a very intense cheerleader. I mean, I was like, I had to catch you 4 times. I almost got hit in the face.
Oh, Kelsey's the best. We love her. Big fans over here. You got a friend in us. Same thing with Joey. We from the moment we found out Joey was the Bachelor, he's been kind in the DMs, and we appreciate what they're doing. Wishing them all the best. So here we have it. Those are the updates. Do we have to make another video? I guess we do. There's another conversation about Jason happening today with Jersey Shore. Right here, we have a Jason and Jersey Shore's Angelina DMing while she's engaged. Now, is there anything to this story? I'm going to go ahead and say my first guess is no, it's all fabricated drama for the Jersey Shore, but we'll still break it down nevertheless. That video is next. Hit the subscribe button right there so you'll get it as soon as it comes out. We'll be back with more right after this.